So I woke up this morning with some really good news. I was tagged in this post to be a potential sugar baby. And I mean, I was even actually super excited that I was even considered to be a part of this. So this guy's posting about how he wants to take these girls on trips, or spend company with them and pay them for that, and then buy them gifts. And I'm like, oh my god, that sounds awesome. I would love that. So I woke my husband up and I'm like, hey, look at this is awesome. What do you think? And he's like, you're married and you have 5 kids. And I'm like, you guys fucking ruin everything.
So this guy asked me to hang out with him, and he asked me to go to his house and hang out there, and that's it. So why is there not a lineup? Wine and dine, prettier than this house visit, right?
Yo, I'm hurting. This shit is it's not easy, I just had the slowest day at work, and it's really starting to get to me now, y'all. I'm trying to stay positive, but I'm sitting at the gas station waiting on my brother and my son because he's coming to pump my gas for me. I have 3 miles to eat. I miss small stuff like having a man to make sure my gas was filled or taking my car for me. I don't even get car washes. I want a man to go buy me flowers. Just all the things that, I miss about being in a relationship. I miss having somebody to talk to. I miss having somebody to go out with. I miss cuddling. I miss sleeping with somebody. I miss having somebody to check up on, make sure they're okay. You ate today, okay? Let me feed you. Let me take care of you. And I miss having that same thing for myself. I just miss having a man in my life.
Never date a woman with kids. Ever. There is literally no upside to dating a single mother. And if you're a guy dating a single mother, it's probably because you don't have a lot of options. But why is it such a bad idea to date single mothers? Well, besides the fact that her body is probably going to be ruined because of the child, you're also pretty much volunteering to be at the bottom of the priority list when it comes to the relationship. And when I mean at the bottom, I mean below the dog. Especially if that dog was there before you guys got together. But what are some more serious downsides to dating a single mother that no one is talking about? And if they are talking about it, they're not elaborating in a way that you will understand. Well, I'm gonna fix that. You see, there is a difference between a legal guardian and a biological guardian. And these two terms are why some guys get caught up getting footed the bill when it comes to children that aren't theirs. And it's crazy because not enough people are talking about this. You see, a lot of people don't compare child support with alimony. Because in most cases, when guys are hit with child support, it's usually from a kid that is theirs. But not fully understanding what the purpose of child support is can be the reason that you're held liable for a kid you didn't even help create. You see, the purpose of child support is to help maintain the life of the dependent party. And it's comparable to alimony because that's literally the exact same thing. If you marry a woman that ends up being a stay-at-home wife, and it for some reason doesn't work out, you are held liable because you gave her a quality of life that she wouldn't be able to maintain on her own. And the biggest problem that a lot of guys don't notice, because it doesn't happen very often, is the fact that alimony and child support are exactly the same. We just don't compare them because most people are actually biologically connected to the child. And if you as a man has played any legal role of guardianship to said kid, the law recognizes you as a legal guardian regardless of if you're married to the mother or not, or if you're even the child's father. Now, not every state recognizes a non-biological father to be the legal guardian of a child that isn't his unless he does something stupid like signing the birth certificate or adopting the child. But an alarming percentage of states actually do. And the conditions in which they consider you to be a legal guardian over a kid that isn't yours it's honestly kind of scary. Here's an example. If you're dating a girl and she gets pregnant and you're there for the birth and then after realize that the kid is not yours, you can still be held liable for child support just because you were there for the birth of the child. And that's even if you prove that the child is not yours. And you don't even have to be the husband to be in this scenario. You can literally just be the boyfriend and still be in hot water. In 2015, a man by the name of Edward Balderi was $30,000 deep into paying back child support for a child he proved to the court wasn't his by bringing the paternity test to the court hearings. Even though he had proved that this kid wasn't his, he was still liable for thousands of dollars more of mandatory back child support on a kid that wasn't even his to a woman he wasn't even married to. This was in Tennessee. In Detroit, Michigan, Carnell Alexander owed $30,000 in child support, not including court fees and jail time because he didn't pay it for a child that he also proved in the court hearing with a paternity test wasn't his. In Dallas, Texas, a man by the name of Christopher Kropp had $40,000 worth of child support that he owed for a kid that he proved wasn't his by, once again, showing proof through a paternity test to the judge that didn't care. And there are a lot more states that recognize these rules as a law. Washington, Tennessee, Texas, Michigan are just a few. And on top of all that, the only thing you get out of dating a single mother is a child that's not yours. Responsibility that evolves into obligation if you marry her. A woman that on top of expecting you to take care of her eventually, you're also expected to take care of the kids that you didn't even make. You're dealing with a woman that is not emotionally available, is probably a bad decision maker, and are almost certainly gonna have kids that probably don't like you. Your life is probably gonna be full of drama because the second you get with her, her baby daddy is probably gonna want her back. Not because he wants her, but because he doesn't want her to be with you. The kids are probably not gonna like you because they want their real dad to be with her. You're eventually going to be some form of a nanny picking them up and taking them to school. And if you move in together, you can almost guarantee that you will be reminded that you are not the father by the kids and her. The second you try to give advice on her parenting, and the second you try to discipline those children, you will get the least respect while having to carry the burden of having the most responsibility. And that's if she doesn't secretly want to get back with the baby daddy for the sake of the children. Now, as someone who has a kid, I can tell you that women on average don't care as much about men having kids as men care about women having kids. One reason being is they know, regardless of if I have a kid or not, they're not gonna have to take care of that kid. They may have to put in some legwork in trying to get that kid to like them, but on average, it doesn't matter if you're not a loser. And in my personal experience as a single father, telling women that I had a kid usually didn't stop me or slow me down when it came to finding girls that wanted to be with me. And in fact, I was a lot more successful in the dating world after I had become a single father. But it wasn't necessarily because I had a kid. It was more along the lines because I was a different person. Before I had a kid, I assumed that girls always told the truth and that I could trust them at their word. I assumed that the only way to get a girl was to be as nice as possible and do everything in my power to show them that I was a sweet guy. And actually, a quick side note, because this is exactly what happened to me. If a girl tells you that she can't get pregnant because the doctor said she couldn't, or she tells you she's on birth control, you can almost always assume that it's a lie. Especially if she gets the feeling that she wants to be in the relationship more than you do. And if you make the colossal mistake of connecting with her children and growing a bond between them, you also run the risk of her having the ability to take them away from you completely if you guys break up. Even if they are considered your legal dependents. Because being liable for child support and actually having legal custody over those children are two completely different things. It is literally a lose-lose scenario for you. And you have no actual legal power or say even if you're held liable for the child support. Oh, and also, it's not your kid. Stop voluntarily taking on the burden of other people's kids because it's way more expensive, it's a colossal headache, and it becomes way more complicated, especially if it works out with the kids, but not their mom. Now, for my single dads out there, I'm gonna give you a little advice. Because in reading the comment sections of videos that talked about things similar to this, I realized that there's a lot of things that you guys don't seem to notice about yourselves. Remember when I said that most women don't care about guys having kids like men care about women having kids? I said that because they don't. If you have been turned down and the girls are telling you that is because you have kids, believe me when I tell you that that is a lie. Why is it a lie? Because Nick Cannon has like 6 baby mamas. Lil Wayne has like 5. I graduated with a guy named Alfonso, and he has 5 kids with 4 baby mamas, and we're the same age. My baby mom's dad has 11 kids and like 8 baby mamas. Women do not care about you having kids. It is just easier to tell you that they don't want to be a stepmom than it is to tell you that they think you're a loser. Women lie so much because they're always trying to find a way to let you down the easiest. And in a lot of cases, you would have been turned down by that same girl regardless of if you had children or not. Remember, the top 20% of men control the top 90% of women. Now, even though the top 20% aren't capable of sleeping with that top 90%, they still control them because the top 90% want the top 20%. Oh, you don't believe me? Well, let's take a trip down memory lane. Do you remember when Arnold Schwarzenegger had an entire secret family in Guatemala? Do you remember when Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez used to date? When a picture of Justin and Selena was posted to the internet, Selena Gomez got a deluge of death threats from Justin's fans. All of which who were so invested into being a fan of Justin Bieber that they actually in their minds thought they were already in a relationship with him. You ever been to a Jason Derulo concert? How about a One Direction concert? Have you ever seen Justin Timberlake's inbox? How about Jordan Lucas's inbox? Their DMs are not filled with the same losers that are filled with most girls' inboxes on Instagram, Facebook, etc. Because when you're someone like Drake or any entertainer or athlete, you're not getting hit up by just the everyday run-of-the-mill losers. You're getting hit up by celebrities, you're getting hit up by influencers, you're getting hit up by the OG 100 million views dancing on TikTok influencers. The girls the average guy wishes he could get. That is what the top 20% of men are getting. So single dads, please believe me when I tell you this. It's not the kid, it's you. Well, that's all I have for this video. And if you guys liked what you heard, make sure you subscribe. I'm gonna leave the sources to the data that I put in this video at the bottom. And with that being said, if she has a kid, stay away from her. Get your life together and stay woke.